Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. Y'all know what to do. Go ahead and sub up, go and like the video, and hit that notification bell.
This is light work. Come on, spill the tea.
Okay, so riddle me this.
Have you ever asked yourself if we may be living inside of a simulation or maybe a parallel dimension of some sort? Well, Reddit user Superman is Taken was washing her dishes in the dishwasher when all of a sudden one of the glass cups broke. And while trying to put the pieces together, she may have recorded one of the best video evidence that we may be living inside of a simulation. Check this out.
Okay, so riddle me this. This cup broke in the dishwasher. This is the shard we found. Exhibit A. And the way that it is... No, put it in. It's rounded, so it's supposed to go like that, with the lip of the cup on top. And that's the way that it would fit, but that's the inverted part. How do you make it fit in the cup? It doesn't fit. We're going viral, baby. The question is, does broken glass invert in the dishwasher? Thank you, and someone help.
I don't know about that. Maybe they took a piece from another glass. Let me know in the comments.
This man's life was turned completely upside down after he was licked by a dog. In 2018, Wisconsin man Greg Mantufel was at a birthday party where he played with 8 different dogs. A few days later, he was rushed to the hospital after experiencing a high fever and weakness in his limbs. His condition rapidly deteriorated, and doctors discovered Greg had contracted a septic blood infection caused by Capnocytophaga, a bacteria commonly found in the mouths of cats and dogs. While it very rarely causes infections in humans, when it does, the consequences can be severe. His situation became so drastic that doctors told him he only had 3 hours left to live since his blood platelet count was quickly plummeting. Greg had to undergo multiple amputations to save his life, leaving him without his legs, forearms, and part of his nose. But thankfully, he survived the infection and relearned how to walk using prosthetics. Regardless of the outcome, Greg has expressed that he will always maintain his love for dogs.
First of all, I hope he didn't kiss them dogs in the mouth. Sorry, dog kissers. Second of all, he was bold enough to be in that wheelchair and hold a dog. My love would have diminished. Oh.
There are beings walking this earth that are not human.
There are beings that is walking this earth and they are not human. I just came from Kroger's. I just got off of work. I went to go pick up a few items. I go to the bread aisle. Now the bread aisle is super long. I'm at one end of the bread aisle. There's a guy that's about 3/4 of the way down in the bread aisle. He got a part, I got a part. He's looking at me. And you know how you can see out your peripheral that somebody's staring at you. He ain't just looking, but he's staring at me. I kind of look his way. He's still staring. I go ahead and I get my bread. I go back around the other way because we wanted to get into the front to get some pasta and some other stuff. While I'm in the international aisle at one end, this guy comes around and he's at the top of the same aisle. I see him still looking at me. Now, mind you, there's a couple of things that I need to get out of that aisle. So the first part of the aisle, I grab what I need to grab, and I go about midways down. He's at the other end. So he's staring at me still. So I kind of look at him, and I go like, how do you give somebody that type look? He's still staring. So I'm looking for what I'm looking for. I can't really find it because he's throwing me off because he keeps staring. Mind you, this man don't have nothing in his cart. He's not even turned to look at any food. He's looking directly at me. By this time, I'm like, you know what? I'm not on it. I'm about to just stare at you. So I turn to look at him. Y'all, when I tell you, this man stared at me and his eyes turned black. Everything in his whole eyeball, not just the pupil, but the white part, turned completely black. He looked, it said, black, and then he walked away. When I tell you I left that cart sitting in that aisle, I didn't even buy nothing from Kroger's. I left out and I came home. There is stuff, there is beings that is walking in this earth, and they at the store, they at whatever, they look like us and everything else, but they are not human. I don't even know what to say.
That Ring camera was kind of suspect, especially when they got that $1 million contest out with the Ring camera. I don't know about that lady, but the last thing I want to see on a late night grocery stroll is an entity.
Before you came to Congress, did you think aliens were real?
So I wouldn't call them aliens. I really like what Grush calls them. He says that they're interdimensional beings, and he's very specific
What
about
does that mean?
I think it means that they're not necessarily a biological entity from another planet per se.
Interesting.
What I will say is, you know, I share a Christian perspective on many things, and it's been very interesting to see some of the stuff that's come up.
With all the people in the U.S. who now believe in UFOs and extraterrestrials, and that we have been and are being visited, I saw something that kind of fits with this. Watch this, then I'll explain, and I got more to show you.
No one on planet Earth is behaving rationally with respect to physics and UFOs. You have a claim that is being heard at the highest levels in Congress that we've lost control of our airspace. You either clear this thing up in an afternoon, or you call in SEAL Team 6.
Yeah, so with the UFOs, these vehicles, these objects, being able to go faster, maneuver, and do things that no man-made object can, why isn't the United States government, at the least, flipping out over stuff like this? Something like this thing here comes in our airspace, we can't do anything to it. It's faster, it's quicker, it can do things nothing else can, and nobody seems to be worried. Why are they not worried? Could it be because they already know about it and have for decades? Maybe. Let me know what you think in the comment section, Booskies. Shabadoo.
Metro Atlanta mom says it actually shows her son's ghost. CBS 46's Yasmina Alston spoke with some paranormal investigators to see if it's real or if it's a hoax.
Here in Canton, Georgia, a group of paranormal investigators look into the supernatural. So it was only right that we asked them about what a mom says she saw in her security footage.
It's definitely unexplainable.
A Metro mom says her home security footage captured her son's ghost.
Definitely tell that in the photo there is a human figure.
On Facebook, Jennifer Hodge posted that she was watching TV with her daughter when an alert on her phone said, "Your entryway camera saw someone." Here's what it showed.
No one's around at the time and something gets captured that we can't explain.
Hodge posted that the figure looks just like her son Robbie, who died in 2016. Hodge told media outlets her son died of an accidental drug overdose. Now, we showed the pictures to paranormal investigators Heather Thompson and Stephanie Forte with Paranormal Georgia Investigations. They agree with Hodge.
Okay, now I'm understanding what she's talking about, but it was definitely a human figure. I mean, there wasn't anything questionable as to, okay, maybe that's a curtain that's billowing, or maybe that's, you know, an appliance. That's definitely a human figure.
The two are part of a group that investigate homes and businesses of those who think they're dealing with the paranormal. They tell me security footage can be helpful, but to confirm, an actual home visit would be necessary. Hodge posted she is happy to be able to know her son is always with them.
I'm glad that she's happy. I'm very glad that she's comforted and that this brings her joy, because I wish more people would have that type of reaction to paranormal activity.
In Canton, Yasmina Alston, CBS 40.
First of all, Canton is like an hour away. Second of all, I wouldn't be claiming no ghost as my son. She might have just invited the poltergeist to her house.
I'm going to show you beyond the shadow of a doubt that the government knows that we live under God's firmament, and they've even tried to destroy it. We know according to Genesis 1:1, God made the firmament and divided the waters under the firmament, that's our oceans, from the waters above the firmament, right? Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong and as a molten looking glass, right? So this firmament is like a molten glass. I would just go ahead and search up Operation Fishbowl. This was a series of high altitude nuclear tests in 1962 that were carried out by the United States as part of the larger Operation Dominic. So they were blowing up nuclear missiles at a very high altitude. That's interesting. I wonder what they were doing that for. Operation Fishbowl. And why was it also called Operation Dominic? Dominic literally means belonging to God. The fishbowl of the Lord was literally the name of this operation. And you're gonna tell me they don't know what they're doing? Some of you guys gotta wake up. The Bible is true, whether you like it or not. We don't live on a bowl.
Atoms are not mostly empty space. This idea probably arises from the fact that the nucleus of an atom is much smaller than the atom itself, and an electron, if it can be localized, is tiny indeed. But that doesn't mean that an atom is mostly empty space, and thus it also doesn't follow that two things should be able to pass right through each other. An electron is not a point particle, or at least it doesn't behave like one in an atom. Rather, in an atom you can think of an electron more like a cloud, or a smeared out electron if you will, smeared out over the entire volume of the atom itself. So when you go to slap a table, it's the cloud of electrons in your hand that are repelling the cloud of electrons in the table. And as we know, like charges repel, so the electrons in my hand will most certainly push up against the electrons in the table. Now, you may have heard that if you slap a table enough times, your hand will phase right through. Now that's sort of true, there's quantum mechanical statements that you can make about tunneling and so on, but the probability of this happening is so astronomically low, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
This guy right here be mad then. Sometime I'll be lost in the sauce.
Use artificial intelligence to generate an image featuring a human character and see what race the AI defaults to. Biases that can be found in AI image generators such as DALL-E and Midjourney became very apparent to me a few months ago when I was using these systems to generate images for a storybook my nieces and nephews were working on. And every single character they describe, such as a teenage girl playing with Lego, the AI defaulted to white characters. And even in the very few examples OpenAI has released of its new video generator Sora, unless the prompt specifies that a character is, say, in Tokyo, the videos they've shown have all featured white characters. Representation matters, especially for children. What we don't want is for some kids to not be able to see themselves in the characters that AI is generating. The way some groups didn't get to see themselves in the dolls that they played with, or the characters that they watched in movies or on TV. AI systems are largely a reflection of the data that they're trained on. That data comes from society, and more often than not, the internet, which is riddled with biases. And if we don't make an active effort to correct those data sets, to make them more equitable and more fair, we run the risk of perpetuating historical power imbalances and societal biases into the future. Racially biased doesn't have to be the default setting for AI systems. Have to take the matter seriously.
Now the AI showing prejudice, that's kind of like the same thing that happened with the internet back in the day. Picture searches, it didn't show up no black people. But that got a lot to do with the programmers just feeding it that data.
What kind of dystopian crap is this? So this movie, like all movies they've been putting out, is showing their future. It's when these artificial intelligence robots are the parents. The evil I feel radiating from this movie in these pictures is like no other. And remember, Lucifer believes he's going to defeat Jesus at the second coming, therefore ushering us into this 2030 where men are immortal and AI and computers run the world like they're already working on. This is what they want. Back to the first still, we have the AI robot selecting the female embryo, but they have much more to choose from. And we know everything they make a movie about is the future or something they want to be the future. So like, is this going on somewhere? Maybe under the ground? I don't know, just thinking. And something tells me Elon Musk will be in charge of this. And just so you know, this is already being done, except in a more primitive way. See what I mean? Tailored baby market, a more modernized Cabbage Patch Kids. And if you don't know, this is a very real thing. Look into it. Craziest part is while people are looking over their shoulders waiting for this to arrive, they don't understand it's already here. If you or your kid have a cell phone, a smart TV, or a laptop, artificial intelligence is literally rewiring your brains right now. The Super Bowl commercial. What kind of dystopian crap is this?
Mother was a pretty cool movie, but she kept her hostage for that long time, making her believe it wasn't no outside world was pretty fucked up.
Do you want to see some strange jewelry? Fred Flintstone has a watch and there's a beating heart piece of jewelry. Check this out.
This man is my first watch. Asteroid. Also from the asteroid belt.
Asteroid. Fred Flintstone's watch right there. Come on. That thing's ugly, son. Look at this.
The beating heart of Salvador Dali. The jewel, of course.
What's going on in the background back there? Anyways, did you guys know?
If somebody step out with that beating heart, they'd demolish the jewelry game. And I'll be hesitant to peel on an asteroid, might have some radiation or something. But it is a cool piece.
You cannot have organized thoughts in a disorganized environment. You cannot have clean thoughts in a dirty environment. The environment that we live in superimposes itself on our thought process. There's been multiple studies where they have found that the visual cortex, which is a part of the cerebral cortex in the brain, that's the first thing that starts reasoning, deduction, judgment. That's what the cerebral cortex does. But the first thing that feeds your judgment is what you see all the time. So whenever you're in an environment that is dirty and disorganized, now your visual cortex is feeding your judgment centers of your brain confusion, chaos. It makes you more stressed out. It produces tension. It even can cause depression.
Morgan, tell us how you can move bottles with your mind. It's easy. Okay, so move this one. I moved it a little. Oh yeah, I saw it. Okay, do it one more time so the camera can see it good. Whoa! Morgan! Okay, do that. Again. You gotta do that again.
I know how to make smoke come out of my mouth.
Whoa, you moved it again. This is incredible, people.
This is incredible.
Let's see. Can she do it again? Can she do it again? It's moving.
Oh.
Hey, it was a couple times I was chilling and the soda can just slid right across the table. And I don't know about that little girl if it was cap or not, but if it was, and I'm pretty sure they ain't came and scooped her up by now.
I have a lot of family in America that's suffering from this mystery illness. No one knows what the illness is. The doctors don't know what it is, but a lot of people are getting it. They got the symptoms, but no one knows what it is. I just want to say this to the people. What's happening right now in America with this mystery illness is connected to the solar flares or the solar eclipse that's happening in April. America is being judged right now. And if the people that live in America, if you don't know how to detach yourself from this corporation or this country, you will suffer the karma. 2024 is the year of karma. Everyone that's been getting over on the people, robbing the people, stealing from the people, hurting the people, misleading the people, karma is coming back to you. And America is going to be judged April 4th. 2024. So this mystery illness is connected to the solar storm or to the solar eclipse. We are all connected to every star, every moon, every sun. We are connected to everything. America is about to be judged right now. So that's why so many people have this mystery illness out of nowhere. It's not really a mystery. It's dealing with karma. If you cannot detach from the BS, you become a part of the BS. Understand what's going on in the universe and understand we are in some kind of spiritual awakening where we are all being judged, we are all being watched, and we have so many challenges that's taking place right in front of us. So once you understand the signs and the symptoms of spiritual healing and physical pain, once you understand what's going on, you will get a better idea of what's taking place. America is being judged, and if the people don't detach, you will be judged right along with everyone else that was doing wickedness in the world.
Be missing teeth like this, right? Why did they find out that you can regrow your teeth using ultrasound and nobody's talking about it?
and for athletes or anyone sporting a toothless grin. It's a Canadian invention that not only plugs the gaps, but fills the holes with brand new pearly whites. CTV's Deborah Shirey explains.
Miller getting some time in spotted. Ryan Smith is down and hurt.
It was a jaw-dropping shot as Edmonton Oiler Ryan Smith takes a puck to the face, and yes, those are his teeth.
It's as quickly as possible for you.
It's too late for Smith's smile, but researchers at the University of Alberta could have a cure for future toothless hockey grins. An ultrasound device that regrows human teeth. Tariq Albiali was researching jaw growth in rabbits.
Accidentally, when I applied the ultrasound, I found the lower incisor grow.
Albiali is the first to try the treatment on humans. After 20 minutes a day, new teeth started to grow in a month.
With this device, we'll get these roots together, held them together.
Now this is the kicker. If we know about this technology, why are we not using this to regrow people's teeth naturally instead of giving them implants and veneers? That's just something to make you think. Now, let me know what y'all think about them regrowing people's teeth.
It's more the frequency than we know. I believe if we can match the vibration and the frequency in something, we can do whatever.
Did you guys hear Bill Nye's warning about what's happening with Greenland? Greenland's ice is melting at an extremely alarming rate and is set to lose ice the size of New York City. This will cause the planet's sea level to rise globally to 24 feet. Check this out, y'all.
Bill, tell us about this report. It's so alarming.
Well, people have been concerned about this business of Greenland's ice for decades. So there's two big problems. As the ice falls off of this island, Greenland, it makes the sea level go up. By putting ice in a glass of water, you can get it to overflow. For example, ice that was on land is now in the ocean. And then as the ocean itself gets warmer, it expands. So both of these things make sea level rise. And when sea level rises, the problem is about half the people in the world live on coasts, on sea coasts. So the infrastructure, the housing, warehouses, roads we have on the shore will get overwhelmed by tidal forces by the ocean. Okay, that's a problem. But the other thing that's very serious is the circulation of the ocean, which goes all over the world. The circulation of water that sinks near Greenland, goes along the ocean floor around the world and back, is being disrupted because it's not sinking in the same way. That when you add all this ice, which is fresh water, not salty water, then it doesn't sink. Because what makes this circulation start is evaporation. Even in cold ocean water, it evaporates, becomes increasingly salty, and sinks. Well, that thermohaline, heat, salt flow, thermohaline, is being disrupted by all this ice falling off of Greenland.
And I should mention, we were looking back and we saw that you were on CNN back in July of 2012 and you were discussing the ice melt in Greenland, saying that this was proof of climate change, sounding the alarm there. And so this is something we've been watching for a long time. And it's also this cycle, right, of releasing the gases as the permafrost thaws. It seems like this vicious cycle. Is there any way to, I guess, do anything to avert this, or is it really just a matter of slowing it down?
Two things to avert, okay, and then the other thing, proof, it's a consequence of climate change. And people have talked about this for a long time. If you want to get technical, which is fun, the Gulf Stream is what happens on the surface. It's this clockwise circulation. It keeps Europe warm and so on. But then there's this overturning, this AMOC, Atlantic Meridional overturning circulation. Well, if you want to do something about it, two things I tell everybody. Talk about it. If we were talking about climate change, the way we talk about a bunch of other very important issues, we'd be doing something about it. And then the thing to do about it really is to vote. You know, we have We have people running for president in the world's most influential country who won't even talk about climate change, let alone talk about what they're going to do about it. So it's happening faster and faster because the so-called feedback mechanisms are both going the wrong way. As we lose ice, we lose sunlight reflecting into space, which makes things warm up faster and faster. And then when we release this ancient methane, which ancient swamp gas that was covered with ice, that methane is also a very powerful greenhouse gas. So these are troubling things, but the sooner we get to work on it, the better. And the latest research is that there isn't really a turning point. There isn't like a click where it's all going to go to heck. Instead, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And that getting worse will accelerate. So the sooner we get to work, the better.
I know I'm not tripping. I know I'm not the only one that heard him said it's going to get worse, and when it gets worse, it's only going to accelerate. Y'all heard that, right? He says we can talk about climate change, but whenever we talk about things like this, our videos get shut down. Well, speaking from experience, my videos get shut down. And then he brings up voting. Well, if my memory serves me clear, the last presidential election,
This is light.